Hey guys, so I know you're all anxiously awaiting the Death Wobble steering upgrade video, and I promise it is coming very soon. But while we were in Texas, of course, we had to stop by and see Tim and his crew over at Baertrax. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this shop, you might remember them from our Big Paw Crawl event video over at Barnwell Mountain. They're actually the ones that hosted that charity event, and it was awesome. Now, they, hands down, are the only 4x4 shop that Kevin and I trust working on our JL in the area. And when we got here, they had a massive surprise for us. Before I get into that though, I did want to go over just a little bit about the shop itself, because we do love these guys a whole heckin' lot. Not only do they do your basic wheels and tires, sliders, gears, suspension, they do everything from your basic daily maintenance on your daily driver, all the way to custom body off restorations to insane monster level fabrication. These guys definitely know what they're doing, and whether you own a Jeep or a Toyota or any other off-roading vehicle, this is 100% the 4x4 shop I would recommend taking your vehicle to in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay, so I did mention a surprise. What might it be, you ask? Ta-da! I present to you RCV's all-new Performance Ultimate CV axles for the JL. Now, these are a direct OEM replacement, and RCV makes two different kinds. Now, although Kevin and I have chosen the one piece that you see here, they also make a two-piece version, which retains Jeep's factory front axle disconnect system, which means you can keep your FAD module and there's no extra modifications needed. And don't worry, for those of you who would rather go with the two-piece version and keep that FAD system over the one piece, there's only a 5% strength difference between the two. And it's also worth mentioning that no matter which one you do decide to go with, they're both backed by a lifetime warranty against breakage up to a 43-inch tire. So we're more than golden with our 38s. And by OEM direct replacement, I do mean that this is an install you can technically do from the comfort of your own garage. Since Kevin and I are currently traveling, we reached out to Baertrax to enlist their help, and not only were they super kind enough to rent us a shop space, but they were also kind enough to give us the hand of a couple of amazing technicians. Now, RCV only recently released these, but if these had been available months ago, they probably would have been among the first modifications we would have made to our Jeep, other than the wheels and the tires. These are really important, and I'll go into more detail as to why once we get further into this installation process and I get the factory U-joints off the Jeep. That way I can show you what the difference is and why these are going to be such a huge improvement. So as you can see, every kit is going to include, of course, your left and right axle shafts, the outer stubs, SST seals, and of course you have your installation hardware, installation instructions, and an installation tool, along with some synthetic moly grease. Black oxide coating is standard, but there is optional nickel plating for extra corrosion protection for any one of you who might live in a saltier environment. All you've got to do is hit up RCV and they can give you as many extra details as you might ask for. She looks so much smaller without the wheels and tires. So much less intimidating. Speaking of, removing your wheels and tires is obviously step number 1 for this install. From there, it's removing your axle nut and then your caliper. What? Are you using that to suspend the caliper once you what are you doing?
Yes.
What? That's so clever. I'm assuming it's not your first rodeo. No. What? That is the first time I've ever seen someone do that. It's super clever. That's cool. Learn something new every day. So in case you guys haven't figured it out already, obviously I'm not going to go too in depth on the step-by-step how-to for the install on these RCV axles, because RCV Performance already has a full installation video that goes over that pretty well, which I'll include a link to in the description below for you that want to do this on your own in the comfort of your own driveway. But for us, instead, I'd rather focus a little bit more on the informative side, going over the differences of what exactly those RCV Performance axles are, because I know some of you have probably never heard of them, or for those of you that have, maybe you just don't know exactly what those pros and cons are. But I really want to go over the difference between those and those U-joints that we are about to take out of our Jeep. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the front axle disconnect system, this is the module that controls all of that. That fork right there is what slides this bad boy where it needs to go whenever you're engaging the whole front axle, right?
Right.
And this is what we are replacing. It's this little guy right here. We're going from this to this. Lesson time. So as I said earlier, RCVs simply replace your OEM Jeep JL axle shafts with a high strength, constant velocity design. By the way, that's what CV stands for, constant velocity. So RCV Performance, their CVs eliminate any oscillation and crow hop that you typically see when you're off-roading. Now, for those of you who don't know what crow hop is, Kevin and I try to minimize how often that happens with us, but you see it really often when you're off-roading with a bunch of people. It's basically when you see these Jeeps going up these obstacles and the Jeep starts to hop, makes that squeaky sound, the tires are going. So that's more or less what crow hop is, and that's caused by the uneven power delivery of a U-joint axle. Now, RCV CVs provide 6 points of fully engaged contact throughout any angle up to 45 degrees. This provides 100% strength even when the steering is turned to full lock, so you don't have that binding that you experience with U-joints very often, very commonly, and can result in really detrimental, leave you stranded on the trail breakage. So you can see your factory U-joints. They've got a decent range of articulation, but as you get into full lock, you get in situations like this where they bind up, and that's that. They have no more movement in certain directions, which is all fine and dandy until you're off-road, especially if you're going down an obstacle and the weight of your Jeep is all on that bound section. That U-joint will completely shatter, and if you're lucky, that's all that's going to break is the U-joint. And if you're unlucky, what'll instead happen is that U-joint up in there, once it breaks, it'll spin around, it'll completely destroy your knuckle, your ball joints, it'll take out everything, and then you're royally screwed on the trail. Now the CV axles, as you can see with this, you've got full range of motion in basically every direction. There's no binding up. Basically, you don't get the tension that you would get in certain situations with your U-joints. And again, this isn't just for people like Kevin and I who do kind of the more extreme rock crawling off-roading. This can happen as far as the U-joints binding up or breaking. That's kind of your weak point. That can happen to just about anyone who takes their vehicle off of a paved road. It doesn't take a crazy obstacle to cause damage to that area. So this is why, as I said earlier, if these had been released sooner, again, they would have been among the first mods that Kevin and I did to our Jeep. Because the last thing you want when you're on a trail is not just for your U-joints to break, but for them to take out the knuckle and the ball joint and everything else, because then you're gonna have a bad time. Okay, so here's that inner piece that we have out as well. And so this kind of shows you this is your single piece RCV axle. So as you can see, you no longer have that ability to disconnect or disengage that front axle. So the module basically won't get any more use. So you can see here, this is what a two-piece would kind of look like for the RCV axle, but Kevin and I went with this one piece. And the reason we sort of did that is it means we'll no longer have the pressure on this bad boy right here. Because you can see this only engages to about right there. The benefit of that and the reason we went that route is because it means that there's one less part that can break on you when you're on the trail. But again, keep in mind, as RCV says, there's only a 5% difference in strength between their one piece and their two piece. We'd just rather be a little bit safer than sorry. Now, for those of you that like to get down and dirty with the facts and the details, I'm going to hit you with a little bit of knowledge. So RCV actually created their all new Dana 44 axles for the JL to be 18% larger than their old Dana 44 design. And their Dana 44 axles are twice as strong. Guys, are you picking up what I'm putting down? He goes, yes. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? This basically means that running these RCVs gives you more strength than a Dana 60 while still allowing you to keep the same wheels, less weight, and giving you more ground clearance. And although these are low maintenance, the axle outboards are gun drilled with a grease fitting on the end to make your life just that much easier. And although RCV does pre-grease their CVs, they do include the synthetic moly grease. That way you can use this in the future anytime you need to top that off.
Let's go.
Woohoo! Yeah, so you can see all the dirt and the mud that Kevin and I have managed to, you know, caught up in there. So what that means is you're gonna wanna do that before you put the new RCV axle in, just to make sure you get any dirt, grime, mud, anything you might have managed to get up in there out before you decide to pack it in with the new axle shaft. And from there, since it's the driver's side and you don't have an FAD or front axle disconnect to worry about, it's pretty clear cut, simple. This one just goes in. Now while we're wrapping up our install, I know I teased you guys at the beginning of the video with some of these builds, but I wanted to go over just a couple of them in a little more depth, starting with this classic FJ40, which is a complete body off restoration. Every nut, every bolt, everything has been either rebuilt or replaced to better than it was brand new. From the LED headlights to a fully rebuilt motor, power steering, fuel injection, and of course, this interior is gonna be amazing. Nothing on this baby has been left untouched. And from what I understand, its future home might be a Toyota museum in Utah. And then of course, we have the Power Wagon. So this is a 1950 Dodge Power Wagon Woody, which reportedly there's only 4 left in the whole world. Not only is it getting a Hemi and 1-ton axles, but just about anything you can point to on this thing is custom. And it's gonna be rolling down the street on 40s. You can see just how much fab work has gone into this build. You have 4 Dana 60s that have been shortened, 100% custom arms, and they're even running modern Dodge 1-ton brakes.
The best part? These sick ass suicide doors.
Look at that.
Some of the paneling.
This is gonna be so cool when it's done. On the back end, you've got a 14-bolt GM rear and modern Dodge brakes. Guys, this is insane. The level of awesome is, honestly, it's hard to comprehend. So there you guys have it, easy peasy. And again, this is an installation that you can do from the comfort of your own driveway. But again, I have to give a massive shout out to Baertrax for helping us out and lending a hand while we're traveling and away from our typical tools that we have back home. As a reminder, I will be including the link to RCV's step-by-step installation instructions in the description below. They also include instructions in every kit that they ship out as well. If you guys have any other questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments. Hopefully I answered most of them. It's a little bit more information that we typically give, but again, I wanted this video to revolve a little bit more on the informative side rather than a step-by-step how-to, because I feel like a lot of people who are purchasing JLs and coming into the off-roading scene are completely new to it. We've had a lot of people ask us to do kind of off-roading 101 videos, when to use 4 high, when to use 4 low, when to use lockers and stuff along those lines, which Kevin and I have been discussing, and I do think we'll be doing in the very near future to help those of you who are new to all of this. But Hopefully this helped. You learned a little bit of something. And in the meantime, we love you guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you next time.
Turn up, let's go.
First time at a curveball.
Attempting a curveball.
Attempting a curveball.
Feels so
See what
wrong.
happens.
Which lane will it go into?
Hey, that's not bad. So not so much curve.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna do another curve.
It came back.
That wasn't that bad.
That's not bad.
I thought I was going in the other lane.